most of the times I have an idea and then I play with it and I change it. And sometimes I would even provoke myself in the middle of it and say, well, what if I don't do that, but I do the opposite and something else happens? So as you see, it's more about the action, not about the final piece.
Hey Victor,
Hey Juan, how are you?
how are you doing, man?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great too here. Uh, I'm
Where are you?
Sorry?
Where are you, Argentina?
Here, Argentina, Buenos Aires. Do you know?
Of course I know, yeah. I've
Yeah.
never been, but of course I know where it is, yeah.
Yeah, nice. So, what do you know about Argentina?
Oh, what do I know? Well, I know that the capital is Buenos Aires, and I know you guys are very famous for beef.
Yeah.
And you have some of the best barbecue
That's
on that
right.
regard. Yeah, I wouldn't say that I know much in terms of, citing cultural things, but I think, isn't Carlos Nine one of an Argentinian?
Absolutely, yes.
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 Yeah, so I have some friends from Argentina, and from what they've told me, it sounds like it's just the same like everywhere else. You have corrupt politicians.
Yeah.
Life isn't easy. So I guess it's just like the rest of the world.
Yeah. Okay. So you have good information. You have the right information. Especially when talking about the beef. That's exactly how it is.
Were they called gauchos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you're up to date.
I don't have many friends. I probably right off the bat I recall one, but I'm sure I met more Argentinians because of her. So because I've been at parties at their place.
Yeah.
And she's married to a Bulgarian, and at these parties there was a lot of Bulgarian and Argentinians.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I've talked to quite a few of them.
That's nice. I'm going to add you some more information so that you have a few more points. I mean, you already know Messi, the Pope.
Of course, yeah. Of course.
Messi, the Pope, Maradona, which we are completely famous about, famous for, and yeah, there's something else with the cultural thing here. I think it's South America. In Brazil, this happens too. That we are very, very much, very, very friendly and very open. With strange people on the street, and we give kisses. Not now because of the virus, right?
Yes.
But we are very used to giving kisses, and there. Another thing is like the nightlife here. You can go out and have dinner and drink wine the whole night, every day of the week. It's like open all the time. In normal.
Of course, yes. You don't need to specify that. I think the world is broken right now.
Yeah, I think that's so too. And even though you said we are like the rest of the world with the politicians and all that stuff, that I think you're right. We are having around 50% poverty in the country.
I heard it's pretty tough. Yeah.
So
I think I watched a documentary about a gaucho in Argentina who was trying to make it work with his farm, and it was very difficult. And so I love watching stuff like that because it's very specific and it's someone's life, and then suddenly you really get to feel that microcosmos of a person in a country somewhere, because it's not major TV. There's no directors. I mean, there probably is, but I mean, they're filming some stuff that is very true. One of my favorite things to do is watch walkabouts in Thailand, like people who would just take their phone out or a GoPro camera or a camera, whatever, attach it to themselves and either just drive around or walk around and film and places that you want to see, and suddenly you're there. because there's no filters, there's no editing. You
Yeah.
know, it's absolutely raw, and I would have that on my screen sometimes when I feel like I want to escape a little bit of. So I've been sitting in this room for more than a year, and I'll have just a full screen Thailand beach with somebody who walked yesterday
Yeah.
and showing what the beach looks like right now, and it's sad because there's no tourists. So, and I love watching stuff like that, and sometimes people all over the world do it, and you get really familiar with actually what life is like.
That's amazing. I mean, this is the first time I hear someone doing that, you know, like, and it sounds like I want to try it one of these days, you know.
Because this person, you know, the videos that I watch, the person doesn't talk.
Yeah.
They just walk. So you basically you're walking, and they're very, you know, just looking around, and there's something that catches your eye and catches their eye too, and they want to see it, and then they go check it out, and then, you know, go back. And so so you're just like, I'm walking there because I can't go there. I can't go anywhere. I'm stuck, you know, like everybody else.
It sounds like a very interesting experience, right? Because
Yeah.
it's, and you know what I used to do years back, like when this when internet was new, and the speed of internet was increasing, like, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, probably, to watch live security cameras on the streets, which is similar to what you were saying, but the difference is that this was live, you know? So you
Yeah.
were watching the rest of the world happening, like, and people don't know they are being watched, you know? So it's kind of creepy in one way,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It's interesting to see what's going on Shanghai, you know, in on the street. I don't know. It's
Exactly. Yeah. And because I guess we all, not just me, but everybody wants to travel. You know, everybody wants to move. Everybody just wants to get out of where they are and just change something.
yeah,
Uh, and I guess 'cause I wanted to go to Thailand right before everything went down, and that was my thing. I was going to go there for a couple of weeks to just chill, and that didn't happen, obviously.
yeah,
And so I signed up for these two Facebook groups that are on this island, Samui, and on my Facebook feed there will come, you know, two types of things. You know, one group is about renting and real estate and houses, and, you know, if you want to rent a house for a month. And the other one is just life on the island, and people are asking questions like, hey, do you know a roof guy? Or I'm looking for that drink. Do you know who's, you know, or I need a repair for this, or I'm looking for an ingredient for that, and best beef here, or, you know, imported French desserts. I mean, it's crazy. And somehow, as an expat, because I've been living, you know, in different countries for the last 20 years, I guess, more. And it's so fascinating to me to see, you know, what normal things here look like on another place.
yeah,
And it's very interesting. And I remember at some point I knew that on the Samui, on the island, there's a lot of snakes. There's a lot of poisonous snakes, something I had no idea. And turns out there's like freaking cobras, like stuff's real, man. Like, this is not a joke. I mean, there's like over 100 species, and half of them are poisonous. So it's
yeah.
like, oh, wait, okay. But anyway, so but on the plus side, I realized that there's a guy, you know, and you call that guy, and he's the guy to come and get the snake. So if you find a snake in your garden, you call him and he comes, he picks it up. And then this guy one day got bitten by a cobra. And then I'm like living here quietly lurking. He has no idea that I exist, right? But I'm like, oh my God, is he okay? How is he going? His hand is black now. Oh shit, you know. And I'm like worried about this guy. So they have a PayPal or whatever is sending funds. I'm like, I'm gonna send $10, you know, just like I mean, I would never use his services probably, but somehow I'm now caring for that person, you know. And then he got better, and, you know, and yeah. And then one day I just reached out to him and I said, yeah, man, you know, been following, you know, really glad you're okay. And he's no idea who I am. I'm like, that's cool. He's like, if you ever come to the island, let me know. We'll drink a beer. And that was it.
We're talking about these new things that can happen in this modern world, you know, because when you were talking about this guy, is this a famous guy in the island, or is he's just a guy that?
He's famous in terms of there's nobody else who can take care of poisonous snakes and snakes in general.
Okay, but
he's the snakes guy.
Okay, but this is not like a rock star, you know.
No?
So yeah, so what?
No, it's like if you have a window repairman in your village who is the best one, and suddenly you have a problem with your windows, and this is who you call.
Yeah.
Only though that this, and I asked him like, so how often do you see snakes? I mean, like this sounds really scary, and he's like, oh, don't worry about it. The snakes are the least of your problem. It's the roads that can kill you, which is like, wow, okay, roads. And then I started looking for videos to see, okay, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And it turns out not only that sometimes there'll be potholes, and when it rains they got filled up with, and so if you're on a scooter and you think you're just going through a little puddle, turns out it's like this deep, so you flip around. And also nobody respects the rules. Everybody's just driving however they want. And if you don't know that, you'll most likely be in a car accident.
That's crazy. But what I was trying to say is that this phenomenon was happening before only with very, very famous people. Like again, like I was saying, like rock stars. We all know about. And what is very what happens with these famous people is that they have a lot of people that like them, and they of course don't know who they are.
Yeah.
But this now is happening with people, like you said, a guy that collects or grabs snakes, that has this effect on, and like this guy, but he doesn't know you know him. And this used to happen just with famous people, and now it's happening with people that have a small blog or they grab snakes in an island.
And and the more you learn about different people in different countries and their problems, the more you realize that we're all the same, really. There's not really much difference. That's why I say Argentina sounds like a lot of other places in the world.
Yeah.
So not to not in any way to make it sound less important. That's not what I meant. What I meant is like in a good way, that our peoples face the same problems, the same issues.
Yeah, I know. So okay, so you talked about Carlos Nigel, right?
Not personally, no. He's dead now, but yeah.
So
I own an original from him, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So I did a review some time ago about your book, which I have here, which is one of the it's one of my favorite books. I would say this one and one I have from Karl Kopinski.
Yeah, Carl.
I find, very similar the books in the sense of like pencil and drawing after drawing, and these are like big books, these are not small magazines, and I end up, watching a lot your book, and when I did the review, I said this, like I felt you were influenced by Carlos Nine, like I said, I see influence, and I thought, yeah, I think you are in Paris, right?
Yes.
And Carlos Nine lived in Paris for a while.
I didn't know that.
So I don't know why I said, okay, maybe these guys know what each other,
That would have been pretty amazing, but no.
So how did you find his work then?
A friend of mine, Alexis Periclo, he's a really great artist, and a friend. He pointed to Carlos Nina because I have no idea who he is, and I discovered him quite late. I actually discovered him while I was in France, I think, and he did. I think the biggest influence from him are just, I really respond to the way he uses pastels.
Yeah.
Just the way he uses colors is something that is very natural to me. I think that's how I think. So when I saw his work, I'm like, wow, that feels very easy for me. Like, not easy in terms of like, oh, I can do this, but it's just like, I understand this. This is how I think too.
Yeah.
And so often when I've done something like that, it really resonates with me.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not as good as him, but it's just something about it. It feels very like I know this for some reason.
Yeah.
You know, like some art, you feel like, well, this feels, you know, I relate to that. I want to make those lines. I want to make those splats or whatever, you know. And others feel like I can't do that no matter what I try, you know. And this feels like if I go that direction, I'll probably one day be able to make a really good copy of Carlos Nin.
That's very interesting. I was showing one of my students yesterday the watercolors. Have you seen his watercolors?
I think I have, yes. I have several books. They're all different. He's very different. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. I found the watercolors like crazy. Like when I see the watercolors, I say like this is too much. Like I can't go there, you know. Like when you say I could try some of this. When I see his watercolors, I say let's leave him.
It's the pencils and pastels. It's the several colors that are just being, you know, hatched on top of each other. It's that rhythm is really what I relate to.
Yeah, yeah. Now that you say, yeah, I find on your work and on his work like those curves, you know, following the form and the shapes. Uh, yeah, yeah,
I'm influenced by a lot of people, though. I'm influenced by just everybody all the time. So I can't just say, well, this one or this one or this one. I'm basically stealing from everybody. I just when I see something I really love, my first instinct is I want to draw like that now.
yeah,
And I sort of, you know, deconstruct how you do that, and I just have fun. And then what I love doing is start one drawing, and in one drawing I would have like, this would be kind of like that guy, this will be kind of like this one, and then I'll approach this slightly different. And so it's very difficult to say, well, that's your influence, because there's several in one drawing. So good luck finding out who's who.
yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's how it should be. If you have just one influence and one guy you're stealing from, you're a thief.
Yeah.
You know, like.
No, it's, you know, we're all thieves. I mean, there's no shame in that. If you can do it properly, good for you. If you can't do it properly, then, well, you know, sad.
Yeah.
But I respect people who can steal properly. That's some talent, because if you steal it properly, that means you understand it and you can pull it off. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you didn't come up with it, but hey, you pay tribute to it. You steal it the right way.
Yeah, I have a small book that my brother bought for me years ago. That's called "Still Like an Artist," which is great.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah. So that's amazing. So when, like you were saying, this happens to me too, you know, to see amazing or drawings or paintings I love so much, and to feel like I want to see if I'm able to do that, or I want to do something like that. So, and when this happens to me, I doubt about myself, because I feel like I'm changing, you know, style to another style, and I feel like I'm not pushing enough on one direction, you know. So one thing I wanted to ask to you is, when I see your work, of course, I find some digital covers or some digital work and some color work, but I associate your work with more pencil, more graphite and drawing, right? So,
Yeah.
so I don't. This is what I find from you, right? I don't see you trying everything all the time, changing everything up all the time. And one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, how do you keep yourself in the same, direction? And if you ever doubt yourself and say, hey, maybe I should try charcoal, maybe I should change the size of my drawings, maybe I should, mix all up, I don't know.
So these type of questions were more present earlier in my life when I was, kind of insecure, scared, all that stuff, and I wasn't sure what's going on. With time, I realized that, and actually it came from a friend of mine who said it, because we were talking about it, and his name is Rodolphe Guénodin. He's a fantastic artist, and I was like, man, I don't have a style. I'm all over the place. I draw all sorts of things. And he said, oh no, you have a style. It always comes through. What do you think? Like, no matter what style you try, you always come through. And that suddenly made me start realizing that we have a style. And, no matter what we try, what's, really hard coded into us is going to come out regardless of how much we try to look like someone else. So what happens is I sort of switched for the last, I don't know, 10 years in a direction where, what do I feel like right now? Like, how do I want to do? And to me, it's more about the action of drawing, of the fun I'm having, the questions I'm asking, and the answers I'm finding, and often I don't know where it's going to go. Like, it starts something. I rarely have a very specific vision. Sometimes I do, and it's really awesome because I know exactly what I need to do, and I go in and I do it. This is probably how Kim Jong-gi feels all the time, but he's one. Nobody else is like that. Yeah. So me, sometimes I do. Most of the times I have an idea, and then I play with it and I change it. And sometimes I would even provoke myself in the middle of it and say, well, what if I don't do that, but I do the opposite and something else happens? So as you see, it's more about the action, not about the final piece. At first, it was the action and a lot about the final piece. But as I kept going, I let go of the fear of, is that going to be good or not? And I just didn't care. And I would stop when I'm done with it. If I want to go back, I'll go back to it. But usually I don't. So and your style just, I guess, peeks through everything. No matter what you try, it's just gonna come out. Yeah. And I think trying to cement a style is a double-edged sword. You could rob yourself of new opportunities that you don't know you can do. But also you can develop a very, very, very strong style that nobody else has, and you're the master of it, and you're this one. So, that case is awesome if you're doing fine art, because then, in fine art, your ego has to be ginormous. You have to walk into a gallery in front of people and say, this here is all shit. I am the one. That's a fine artist. That you got to have that in order to survive in the fine art world. Yeah. But if you're someone who works on projects, works with people, works with other creatives, other artists, and art directors, creative directors, movie directors, well, that attitude is going to get you fired. Yeah. So that's kind of the difference there. And I'm not a fine artist.
Yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, I when you were saying that, I was thinking, of course, Viktor is not talking about himself, I guess.
No. I'm far from a fine artist. I tried that, and not for me. I would immediately start making fun of what I'm. The moment I have like a deeper thought and some deeper idea, I start ridiculing myself halfway through the drawing already, and I'm making fun of myself, and that deep idea is already crushed. and I cannot take myself seriously. So sometimes I really admire people on Instagram when I see them, that they spend so much time in something like so deep and serious and like meanings, and I'm like, wow, like I would not be able to do that, simply because halfway through I'll be like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
And I'll turn it into humor. So by no means I'm mocking anybody, you know. I'm just making fun of myself, really, because I can't pull that off. Okay,
That's amazing.
I
So you don't have that problem of what do I want to say with my art? What do I want to do with?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I, I I don't often make political statements. The stuff that is most often present in my drawings is feminism and violence against women. So since women are such a huge inspiration for me, I decided to, that's where I'm going to take a stand. And it was it's a lot about that. So sometimes I'll have, social things kind of hidden in a drawing with a funny message or this and that. So they're not just so direct, but they're there.
Yeah. So uh, when you were saying you don't have the like the end result of a drawing on your head before drawing.
Not all the time. Like sometimes I do.
So you're saying you react to what you find in the page when you're working, right? Like you have like a little conversation with what's going on there.
It really depends. I have so many different gears that I switch to. So in the situation, for example, when I'm under pressure, like I'm at a table in a festival, there's a line of people, everybody wants a drawing in their book, everybody's watching, Carl's sitting next to me, we got to crank this shit out.
Yeah.
So there's no time for me to, what am I going to draw,
Yeah.
In that moment, I turn this into, to have fun, I turn this into a performance. I start looking into the person that I'm talking to, and I'm actually getting inspired by who that book is for. And I would throw a couple of jokes. I'll try to pick up a line to see where this is going, what do they want. They might suggest something. And then, as we're talking, this starts happening. And I might change it in the middle as we go. And it can go in one direction or another during that. And it becomes a much more valuable drawing because now we were just laughing about it. It happened because of our conversation. And you have a drawing in your book that is not only, Viktor, was playing with some pencil on paper, but it's actually, this is our conversation. This is our moment that happened. And now it's in your book. So it's more than that. And that's one gear, I've done this often, sometimes for hours. It's very exhausting in the end. Another one is when I get when people buy books on my website with a drawing. That's a different mindset. Then I wait. I don't jump on it immediately. I wait until I feel like, okay, tonight I'm going to do that drawing or those drawings. And I get the stack of books and I sit down and I sort of, and I open the book and I kind of look through it because I'm going to do a drawing that will respond to whatever's in the book. And then some of my drawings give me some ideas. And sometimes, if the TV's on, I'll look up and I'll see something. I'll just watch for a few seconds and see something interesting might show up. And I just pick that up and I start drawing. In the moment a few lines appear, I'm already provoked by the shapes and start adding new shapes and things change. And I would put that aside. I'll pick the next one. And sometimes I just go back to another drawing, draw a little bit. I'm like, oh yeah, that got really, this one is really good. So I'll go back to another one and, try to lift that up a little more. So it's a different mindset.
Wow.
Because it's very special. When I do drawings in the books, I'm trying to do them very personally. And then there's the drawing when it's for relaxing. when it's just my sketchbook and I really don't care. So sometimes it's just watching my pencil make moves, and sometimes something interesting shows up and I pick up on it. Or I have a particular idea in mind. And all this is usually without reference. And last weekend, I think, I decided, you know what, I want to draw from a reference this time. So I was looking for a belly dancer. So I just found this photo of a belly dancer that I really like. And it was very pleasant because I didn't have to solve anything. Everything was solved. So I'm just having fun drawing that and enjoying those lines, and you know, just sort of jazzing with the photo, which was fun.
So
And
the fact that you work most of the time without reference, that for me is like crazy, because I mean, at least I feel like I have to contrast or to compare, you know, I don't know, maybe anatomy and perspective, and like I feel like I have to have something real to be able to, you know, make adjustments, or it's not that it comes, you know, from heaven to my to my hand. So that's for me. It's like, again, like watching Kim Chun Lee, you know, making drawings from. It's like I don't think.
nobody's like him. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I know.
nobody's like him. I mean, we've all tried,
Yeah,
and we've all tried. Some of us have succeeded to some extent.
yeah,
Nobody can pull off that stamina and the scale that he does it.
yeah,
Maybe I'll do a good drawing with an ink brush, you know, 1, 2, 3 drawings. Maybe I'll make one good page with cool stuff in it like that. But I cannot feel a wall
yeah.
with a planned logo in the middle, white, you know, and have multiple vehicles with,
Yeah,
I don't know, God knows what coming from everywhere. No.
yeah.
Yeah. So if somebody's fooling themselves that, you know, they did one drawing with a brush pen and they're like, oh yeah, I can do that. No, you can't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, to say the truth, I didn't even buy the brush pen. You know, I said no, no.
Oh
That's
no, of
like,
course I tried it. Of course I had to try it. We're good friends with him, so we're mocking each other a lot.
so.
Um,
Yeah. So what does it feel to be friends of, I don't know, Karl Kopinski, Kim Chun Lee, to have them on a side drawing? Like, is that
they
scary?
and also Hyun Jin, who is Jungi's brother. Well, these are some of the most humble people I know.
Wow.
They're incredibly warm, uh, you know, really kind people. I've seen nothing but love from these guys, and they're very hardworking. They don't stop drawing. Their life revolves around drawings, and they're extremely generous, both with you know, their friendship, and you know, with attention. Honestly, they're really, really kind people. So I speak very highly of them because we've had several occasions where it's just been it's just great to have them as friends. Really, I wish we could hang out more often together, but whenever we're together at festivals, we always hang out, and it's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's so good to hear, you know, that they are uh, not only great artists but people. It,
Oh yeah, yeah. They're fantastic. Really, really like super nice people.
yeah, this is not like when you meet a hero of yours and you're like, oh, so he's a little bit of a jerk. No, no, this is the,
Oh no, 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 nothing like that. Nothing like that. I mean, Jungi is a master who, you know, can easily has achieved so much, and he can do so much that it's very easy to have an ego, and everybody will be like, well, of course, sure, understandable. Quite the opposite. And his brother Hyunjin, who is, you know, the guy with the silver beard and silver
yeah.
hair walking around, he's an amazing artist. And every time I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Why aren't you drawing? You know, like, why is only, you know, why is the bold one drawing? Why aren't you drawing? Like, what the hell? He's awesome. I mean, you should see his watercolors and his drawings. He's fantastic. He's super talented.
Wow.
So they're amazing guys. But Hyunjin has taken on the role of, I guess, being more of a manager and support to his brother,
Yeah.
which is sad for the art world because he should be more seen. But if you see his watercolor originals, it's just mind blowing. He's incredible.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I feel if he's okay working like that with his brother, with Kim Chung Gi, I think that's fine, you know.
Oh, of course it's fine. No, I'm not criticizing him in any way. No.
Yeah, yeah. I guess we have to do what we love doing, you know. And if he's okay, I don't know, not drawing all the time. If he's like more than
No, all I'm doing right now is just shedding some light that he is also an amazing artist.
yeah.
By no means I'm going to tell him what to do. They're doing their thing. They have it under control. They're happy with it. I'm happy for them. But the world should know that Hyunjin is also an amazing artist.
Yeah. So going back to when what you said about enjoying the process, you know, and not only the final drawing, like the result. Uh, you sound to me like very relaxed when you're doing it, watching the TV or playing with some lines and so do you what do you think about when you're drawing like because I saw your you have your your class on schoolism.
Yeah.
And I know there is a lot of work and theory and preparation behind you. It's not that you do whatever you feel. I mean, you have a base foundation. So my question is, when you're drawing, are you thinking about composition, contrast between maybe a dark area and more space and air, or white of the page in another place, a highlight in the nose? Are you thinking about this, or you're just doing whatever? Uh,
Well, when I'm drawing for myself, um, the most of the drawings are very object centered, like they're very character centered, which means background and surrounding areas come second. They're not so important. The face, the bodies, the objects are what matters. And if there's background, it just suggests it. So like, okay, you should know that there's a house in the back, or you should know that there's a tree in the back, but I don't care about that tree so much. So in that case, composition is sort of somewhat irrelevant, because in my process, when I do these drawings for fun, that is not so, I don't think about that much. I don't care. And probably because of experience, I naturally tend to, end up the drawing looking pretty solid in terms of composition.
yeah,
And then I naturally balance it, but this is not a very calculated process. The calculated process, which is quite calculated, comes in my professional work. And that's when things start with, what am I doing? Who am I doing it for? How is it going to be viewed? What are the most important things? What do I need to know? What are the technical difficulties? All these things. And I approach it and I basically pile up all the constraints right in the beginning. And from the very early stage, composition, importance, balance, black and white, all this kind of stuff is right there. So I can deliver an image that is what needs to be, because this image has a very particular purpose, and that purpose has to be met.
yeah.
When I draw for fun, the purpose is for me to have fun. So I don't care for this other stuff. And that's why number one for me is to enjoy what I'm doing. And I really care about the final result, because the final result is what? A drawing in an art book?
Yeah.
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 So, and this way I'm more likely to produce a better drawing because I'm going to have fun doing it. And if I have fun doing it and it's a better drawing, more people are going to be inspired by it and they will like it naturally. because every drawing carries energy. When we draw, you can feel it. And I work with a lot of artists right now. My team is about 40 people altogether. I don't always talk with everybody, but I talk with probably a good half of them. And I can always feel, what happened, in the middle of those drawings. Like someone was stiff here. They had fun in this part. And this part was difficult. They struggled here. They really struggled. They got mad. They moved on. And then when we start talking, and yeah, that's exactly what happened. And then we don't discuss about, how to make it, how this line is bad. We discuss like, why did you get mad?
Yeah.
Like what made you mad? And it's like, well, made me mad this and this. Well, how do we solve that? So we don't, through the drawing, we discuss the real problem that causes that, and not so much about, well, this line is wrong, draw it like that. How does that solve the problem?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I talk about this a little bit with my students when frustration appears, when anxiety appears, and this is amazing because we end up talking, instead of the technical aspect of the drawing, like you said, which we also do because I'm trying to teach, so we have to, but we end up talking about how they feel while they're doing it, and why we draw, like the exact same thing, like real problems that then appear on the drawing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And it actually takes fundamentals and professionalism and acting like a grown-up to overcome all these things when the deadline hits you.
Yeah.
When you have to do something in order to feed your family, when you have to pull off a job, when you have to finish something, and you might feel like you want to die right now, but you have to do this. And this is where all the fundamentals kick in. Because even if I'm not having fun with that drawing, me knowing what's going on, what happens, I'm going to execute a 80% of what I normally can when I feel the worst. Because all this foundation, all this knowledge will kick in and save me, basically. Because if I only rely on good drawings that happen when I'm happy, I better be happy all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's how it should be. I mean, when this is a way of living and we work doing this, we can't, like you said, we can't wait to be inspired and feel, the weather to be nice and to feel amazing this morning. We can't be waiting for that to make a good work.
Oh, dude, a funny story. Oh shit, I forgot the name. No, what was his name? Damn it. His name escapes me. Well, this is the artist of Final Fantasy. Damn, it's very famous. And on one festival, he makes beautiful art. He's Japanese. And on one festival, we were sitting with another French artist, comic book artist, on the stage. And they're asking us questions, and he answers, then the French guy, and then it's me. And so they ask the question, like, when is your favorite time to draw? And he started, in a very Japanese way, saying, favorite time to draw is in the spring. And the trees blossom, and whatever petals, and the light hits in that morning, and the birds, and I'm listening like, what? Like, seriously? Okay. And then I see the French guy is also getting nervous. So the French guy is, is like, well, when I go to my studio, I, get in, I make myself some coffee, I sit down, and then, is this like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock where, the coffee kicks in, I'm really having fun, and, this and that in the day, and probably towards the day, I'm not so this, that, and then my turn. And like, man, after this, like, what do I say? So I said, well, you know what? In the weekend, if my wife manages to get the kids for a couple of hours on that Saturday, and I have the apartment for myself, the first hour is going to get into like anxiety of like, I have no time. I have to finish whatever I'm going to do. And then the last hour will be like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And then they'll come and that's it.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
so, so it was very funny with like, what's your favorite time to draw? In the spring. And,
Yeah.
my admiration to the guy, he's a fantastic artist, but that struck me as an answer such as like, wow,
Yeah.
the spring.
The spring. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be patient then.
The question wasn't like when is the only time you draw, so obviously it was the favorite time, but I love the scope of things. Like his scope was time of year. My scope was on that weekend, couple hours. Can I squeeze them in?
Amazing.
Yeah.
So another thing I wanted to ask you is, of course, I've been following on Instagram for a while now. I don't know, years.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, and I used to see much more posts from you years ago. Like I remember, maybe I don't know if every day, but I remember having new things from you constantly. Like probably every day or every other day. And I wanted to ask you if social media changed the way you work or the way you draw. I mean, if you're influenced by everyone, I don't know, the 150,000 people watching you, or maybe not, you just don't care. And
No, it's very simple.
yeah,
It's very simple. Life happened. People
so
happened. Life happened.
yeah,
People happened. I was in a really good place when I was drawing all these drawings every day. I was really happy. I was in a really, really good place. And then something happened, and I started getting, less and less in that good space and more in a really dark one.
okay,
And unfortunately, that continued for quite a few years. It was a lot about people. It was a lot about expectations and disappointment, and just a reality that is very different from what you were hoping things are going to be. Friends who are actually not friends, a lot of stuff like that. And so basically, people happened, and it really broke me. And it had nothing to do with my followers. I felt quite guilty, in fact, because many people notice and have been texting me like, "What's going on? Like, post more." Some are very, some would be even very arrogant. I remember once I just posted a quick drawing, and somebody said, "What the hell is this? What do you think? Like, you're just gonna get away with one little drawing? Like, you haven't posted for a week." I didn't really respond to anything, but I'm like, you don't know what I'm going through. You can't just lash at someone like that. Like you don't know. Very few people knew what was going on, and it just sometimes it hits you, and that's why I'm saying that drawing is happiness. We should draw when we're happy, and a lot of stuff was happening in my life that was the opposite of that, and it was just I just couldn't sit down and draw happy things, and so I would sometimes force myself to draw just because I need to. I have the drive
yeah,
to draw, but the joy wasn't there.
yeah,
So I sit down with that, and then I'm kind of forcing myself, and sometimes it's fun. And if I'm doing a good drawing, actually, this can lift my mood. But some of the drawings got a little rough, or anyway, I think I'm getting out of this, but I'm so busy lately with everything that's happening around me, that now it's more about not having the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's it. It has absolutely nothing with social media and how I care for this. Actually, I do care about people that follow my work. You know, I always read the comments. I always reply to messages whenever someone messages me. I am very engaged. I never like build a wall or anything.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was, of course, I wasn't. This was not at all a regret. I mean,
No. I get it. I get it. I understand. I was just explaining.
yeah. No, but and I mean, without, I don't want to get into personal, very into intimate stuff, but did uh, did the Instagram and showing and having a lot of followers and likes and feedback, and did that change how you work? I mean, what your drawings look like. For instance, you see one drawing explodes with the number of likes, you know. So then, do you ever feel influenced?
No, that did not change how I draw. No, I would I would post a drawing knowing that it's going to provoke a lot of likes, or knowing that it's not going to get likes. Now I have a sense. I can pretty much predict what's going to be liked. It involves boobs, but yeah, trust me. Like the moment I post any of those, it's like, you know, I posted, you know, some really good drawings that didn't get recognition. For example, I knew it was going to happen. The children's book, for example, with the puppy, the very very sad puppy. I really like those drawings. They're very simple. They're not what you expect from me. You know, people don't expect for me to be doing children's books.
Yeah.
But it's something I did, and I really like those drawings. So they're difficult to do because it's just one line that has to be the line that have to say everything and be placed in the right place with the right energy. So they're difficult drawings.
Yeah.
But it was like, what? And a lot of people just dismissed it. So if you see the likes on that one, they're very low. And to me, they should be a lot higher than some other drawings that are just simply, you know, a girl with some tattoos, shaved head, see a little bit of cleavage, and she goes like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, come on. You know,
Yeah.
the puppy is way cooler.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Instagram is, I mean, social media, and this is like newspapers too. You know, it's all about, you know, yeah, I don't know, food, sex, and violence. Those three subjects are like, you know,
Well, gladiators, you know, it's not like nothing new under the sun.
yeah,
You know, bread and action. You
yeah,
know. So and invite them all to the Coliseum where everybody feels like a king because it's such an expensive place. That's what Las Vegas is. You know, you go to Las Vegas and you feel like a king. Everything seems expensive, shiny. You're treated like a royalty, which lowers your defenses and you feel like you're at the top of the world. And that's exactly how they want you to feel when you sit at that table.
amazing.
Yeah.
So, Victor, one last question here, and we are done. What would be your advice to someone who's thinking or who's drawing a lot already, and maybe is thinking about being more serious or making making a, how do you say, make a
A
living?
life as an artist?
Yeah, make a living out of drawing. Yeah,
Yeah, make a living with it.
yeah,
Well, that is a very complicated question, and there are many, many answers. The best answers I give are personally to whoever asks me that for themselves. So there is no general advice that I can, you know, shout out in one sentence into work. But I would respond to that question with several other questions that people should ask themselves, and they will find that. So first of all, they need to find what is it that really makes them happy in art. Is it graphic design? Is it illustration? Is it the storytelling of it? Is it the craftsmanship of it, like rendering things? And, is that something? And just find out, what is it that they forget to breathe when they do it?
Mm.
What is it that you don't realize that 30 minutes have passed and you're still at it? Like, then when you know what that is, learn what are the fundamentals for this stuff. What are the fundamentals of that? What makes you really, really happy? And do the fundamentals, whatever they are. If it's graphic design, you got to learn some font and how letters work, how the symbols work, how the negative spacing works, how thin and thick work. That's super important. Then you got to learn about composition in 2D space. And you got to learn Illustrator, obviously, and a bunch of other stuff. And these are your fundamentals that you have to have. You have to learn some color theory and software. If you realize that you're an illustrator, what kind of an illustrator are you? Do you like to visualize things that don't exist? Visualize, come up with a vision for something, which means you're kind of going into a conceptual artist, a concept artist stuff, someone who's creating new things. Or you're the type of storyteller that you like to, do an illustration that you can feel time in it. You can look at it and what just happened and what is about to happen. So you kind of capture a moment of time, with one image, but you can see back and you can see forward in that, and that's a different mindset. And all these different things, they require fundamentals that come with them. In illustration, your fundamentals will definitely be, if you're going to be drawing people, well, anatomy, not to be expert in it, so I think what I did with my class is just the perfect first step, where it's not scary. There's no Latin names whatsoever, which I get a lot of criticized by some of my artist friends that like, how can you teach anatomy? You should teach anatomy and bones and muscle. Bullshit.
Yeah.
People who really want to get into that will do it regardless.
Yeah.
But just get those structures right, get those proportions right, get the understanding of moving volumes, not so much muscles, because very often things that have all the muscles present seem very broken. Yeah. Because the thought about construction and moving muscles and perspective got really sort of not is not really present in the piece, and the fact that all the muscles means nothing, because it still feels like clay. So that's it. I mean, find what you want to do that makes you really, really happy, and then makes your heart sing, and then find out what are the fundamentals for it, and learn those first, because then learning those fundamentals will be easy and fun.
Yeah.
And you're not going to feel so much like you're struggling.
Sounds amazing. I'm going to take that advice. So Viktor,
well, all these amazing drawings, I guess they're yours or your students?
Oh, these are all mine. Yeah, actually, these are mine. Yeah.
Well, they're fantastic from what I can see from here.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm here at my studio with my cat. She's sleeping.
Yeah,
here.
the black cat.
Her own chair,
Yeah, my dog has its own couch. It's covered with this sheet, because that's where she sleeps. But she's not here right now because somebody was making food in the kitchen, and that was more interesting.
Yeah.
But usually she would be sleeping right behind me, and that's why this is covered. So yeah.
Amazing.
She's a black Labrador, about 10 years old. We adopted her a few years ago. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think animals are great company and great partners. They are crazy. I love them. They teach.
Yeah, I love animals too. Yeah.
They teach us so much. Without speaking. It's well. I don't want to take more of your time.
No, it's really pleasant talking with you. No worries.
Thank you Thank you so much, Victor, for letting me do this. This is like a huge honor for me. You're one of
Thank
my
you. Thanks so
favorite
much for reaching out.
artists. So big hug, and we'll keep in touch then.
Yeah, let's do that. And I know that I have a trip to Buenos Aires in my future for sure, because a couple of artists that we work with live there. So
Yeah,
I know that we'll visit them at some point, and I'll let you know if I'm around.
we're going to
And
go.
same for you if you come to Paris when this, is
Yeah,
over. I don't know.
definitely. So when you come here, we're going to go have some cool beef. Okay, some
Hey, all right.
amazing.
I'm trying to cut down on beef. I tried to become a vegetarian, but kind of failed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um, yeah, failed just because just necessity. It was just difficult to feed the entire family on just vegetarian stuff because it requires a lot of cooking and preparation and planning. And it's a
Yeah,
lot easier when you just have some meat, boom, proteins are solved.
yeah,
Plus, I started gaining weight. What the hell? Like all this bread, pasta, rice, lentils.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm growing. What is going on?
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, you're
Yeah.
making
So steaks are still on the menu. I've reduced the consumption of meat drastically,
yeah,
but it's not gone. Yeah, it's just for the taste. Just for the taste. Sometimes.
perfect. We'll go. We're going to have that one when you come, man.
With pleasure.
Big hug. Let's keep in
Yeah.
touch.
Big hug to you too. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye bye.
Okay. You too. Bye.